Hi folks, my name is Linda Emmett and welcome to Happiness is an Inside Job. We are the creators of our own reality, we create our own lives. Our mind is our biggest limit and it's our own beliefs, behaviours and habits constantly caught in those cycles that keep us trapped where we are and stand in the way of our own happiness. So throughout this podcast, we're going to take a deep dive into some of those beliefs, habits and patterns, where they show up in your lives and what you can do to change them. Hi folks, how are we all doing? On this week's podcast, I wanted to talk about eating problems or eating disorders, I suppose, maybe a mix of the two. And again, as you all know, I've struggled in my own life, my own past, and still I'll hit a speed bump every now and again, especially if I come up against what I deem a stressful time. But I'll fill you in on that a little more in a minute. But what I want to look at is eating disorders, eating problems, and how you know the difference between, I suppose, when you're on a diet and when you're actually developing a problem, when it's changing into the two. Because sometimes we can get so lost in it and so lost in what we're focusing on that we don't see the wood for the trees. We don't see where it's becoming destructive or damaging or a problem. We don't see that creeping in. And again, like that, I will see this. I work with eating disorders and addictions, food addictions, emotional eatings, things like that. So I would see a lot of it. I've dealt with it, as I say, in my own past. And eating, I suppose, a relationship with food in particular, to change that and to change the habits and things like that. It is not like, okay, it's a toxic relationship, it's problematic, that you're binging or starving yourself or you're taking laxatives or whatever it is. We'll just cut that. That can't happen. You have to stay alive. You have to keep a relationship with food. So it's more complex in that you have to shift the relationship. You have to get to the root that's triggering those behaviours, the patterns, the cues, and start changing them. And obviously get into the subconscious and change the root that's triggering them, as I say, in the first place. So for me, I know on my path, I would have consciously known for a very long time that I had a problem, but I would have been that humiliated again by the problem. I felt so ashamed of the problem that it took me a very long time to ask for help. But in honesty, folks, the second thing was there. For me, the problem served a purpose. We will only ever keep something on if even subconsciously it's serving a purpose. And when I say binged, I was feeling lack. I had a huge internal lack. Believed I was lacking in so much. Now again, subconsciously, folks, believed I was lacking so much. I wasn't smart enough, good enough, educated enough, pretty enough, skinny enough, all of those things. So binging on that food, stuffing all that food down my neck, till I was full beyond belief, till my stomach was popping out. I was actually in physical pain. Was a way, subconsciously, a coping mechanism for feeding that lack. And the very nature of lack is it can never be filled. It's lack. So it's understand, it will always find another reason to lack. But it's understanding that part of yourself, the nature of what it is, why you're doing what you're doing. And for me, I was trying to feed the lack. Then minutes later, or even seconds later, guilt, shame, embarrassment would kick in straight away. I'd feel ashamed of my body, ashamed of what I'd done, and I'd feel fat. I'd feel huge. So to get myself away from those feelings, then I'd calculate the time. I'd wait 20 minutes because I'd read it takes 20 minutes for food to reach your stomach. So I'd sit for a very uncomfortable 20 minutes and then I would go up and I would purge. And the purging, vomit, was again control. I was controlling what was going on. So that was, I suppose, some of what I was gaining from it. I was filling a void by the binging and then the purging was control. And it's understanding that will help you navigate forward. Understanding what your mind believes it's doing, what purpose your mind believes that bulimia or eating pattern or emotional eating, what purpose your mind believes it's serving in the first place. Once you understand that, understanding is power, then you can begin looking at how to navigate forward. But by nature, eating disorders or eating problems, like your binge eating, your purging, your starving yourself, self-induced vomiting, laxative misuse, these come from, in part, us striving to lose weight in order to feel better about ourselves, to feel more confident, to feel more beautiful, to fit in. And we all know, folks, social media plays a huge part in that. They put in front of us and paste in front of us all the time what beauty looks like, what it should look like. It's only now starting to change. But I mean, like, those hereditary beliefs have already been ingrained in our mind. So our mind is going to take time to change with them. Yes, now there's different body shapes, sizes, colours going up now. But our mind over decades has already learned and been trained into believing what beautiful looks like. And I mean, like, when we look at, well, I know certainly when I was growing up, your Kate Moss, Naomi Campbell, and I can't remember, I think it was Heroin Chic they called Kate Moss at the time. And this is what you strived for and aimed for. So some of this is where our thinking comes from. Do you know what I mean? And it's reminding yourself of that these are hereditary beliefs that are coming in, or things that we're seeing are being bombarded with, or have been for years across social medias. These did play a part in creating the problem, but now we need to learn to be our own solution. So it's looking at what your problematic eating is, what it is, be it laxative use, binging, emotional eating, starvation, any of those things, looking at what it is, and what your cues are, what your roots and triggers are, what's actually triggering you. Is that the weekends more, weekdays? Is it when particular things happen, when you feel super busy, stressed? When is it showing up? And then looking at what you believe that you're getting from it. And because I know, as I say, for me, some of it was control. So if you're feeling out of control in other areas of your life, say you're feeling super busy, super stressed, always running around like a headless chicken, we'll look for ways to cope. We will naturally seek out ways to cope. And if that's in there, ingrained as a pattern, and food is an easy one, because we have food in our lives everywhere anyway. So it's an easy one. And from babies, we're taught to emotionally, we're given a lollipop to shut up, or, treats on a Sunday, you're rewarded in school or wherever else, at home, with food, with cakes, with, for being good, for achieving something in school. So we're trained to emotionally eat. Do you know what I mean? And that all plays a role as well. So again, understanding your own patterns, and if you have areas in your life you're feeling out of control of and are making you feel stressed, feel bad, feel not good enough, we can often be compensating, trying to be super slim to feel better about ourselves, or overeating to push down the emotions. Do you know what I mean? Depending on what our poison is. So some of the ways, guys, I suppose that it'd be a red flag that you'd be looking at and saying, okay, if some of these things are showing up in my life, it is showing me that I have problematic eating, to say the least. One would be if you're deliberately missing meals or dieting extremely in other ways. So if you're actively missing meals in your day and saying, oh, I'm too busy, but this is a regular thing, you're running into problematic eating. If you're going more than 4 to 5 hours within your day, and now we all have rush days, we all have busy days, we all have times that we may skip them, rarely. But if this is showing up as a regular thing in your life, be it during the week or at the weekends, where you're going huge lengths, you're skipping and you're missing meals, and you're a little bit happy about it, you're running into problematic eating, because you're literally putting your body into starvation mode. It's running on no fuel, no energy, and you're getting a little hit from that. You're training your system to that. You're running into problematic eating. Dieting in extreme ways. We're talking about these, you know, the cabbage soup diet. You know, the extremes, the food supplements, taking fat loss tablets, you know, the aloe vera diet, any of those things that aren't your 3 to 5 healthy meals a day. That isn't healthy eating. Any of these extremes that you're bringing in to burn fat within, you know, lose 7 pounds in 7 days, any of these things, they're not healthy for your body. They're not good for you. They're not something that you can maintain going forward, and they are at the extreme level. And if you're going to the extreme levels, you're punishing your body. You're not helping you. And again, that's where you're starting to run into problems. On the binge side of things, if you're eating excessive, if you're feasting basically, if you're like, you know, Jesus and the apostles at the table, except you are the Jesus and the apostles, you're eating all the food for yourself and the 12 apostles. Like, if you're eating, do you know what I mean? At that level, pure feast, that's a binge. And if you're doing that regularly and you're eating large amounts, stuffing it down your neck in a rushed or a stressed state, just hoarding it in there, angrily eating, just stuffing it down your throat, again, that's problematic eating. That isn't sitting, being mindful and enjoying your food. Again, we're in punishment mode there. Taking laxatives. If you're running the food back out of your system, if you're taking laxatives, even if you're lying to yourself and telling yourself you're bunged up and you need them, whatever, if you're doing this regularly, it is a problem. It's a different way of purging. You're trying to get the food out in a different way, and you're really damaging your system. So again, this is problematic. If you're making yourself sick, to get the food out of your system, that's another sure sign. Exercising obsessively, and the average is 3 to 4 times a week. Do you know what I mean? Try and walk 10,000 steps a day. But if you're going to extremes, and either other people are commenting or you know yourself, a lot of the time we do. A lot of the time we are aware, but we're getting something from it. We're getting it, it's feeding something. The thing it's feeding in us is lack, unfortunately, so it will never be fed that way. It will not matter if you're doing 90,000 steps a day. If you're trying to feed lack will always tell you need to do another 10,000. What you have to do is shift the lack. You have to find what the lack is, what you believe you're lacking. Is it poor body image? Is it confidence? Is it you're not good? What is the lack? And get to the root of that and work with that. If you're listening to lack constantly, you will keep doing the same thing over and over and over. The likes of Slimming tablets is another. Again, these are the fat loss tablets. If you're taking Slimming tablets, then food supplements, and you're taking them especially for long lengths of time as well, but at all, really, guys, it is problematic. You're running into eating problem or eating disorder territory. So if it's a thing that you've ticked a few of these boxes, it is something that you need to look at before it becomes a bigger problem, before you do need to go and see your doctor, because these things do take hold very, very, very quickly. And the more you're in denial with it, the more of a problem it is, to be honest. Like, do you know what I mean? So looking at ways that you can, I suppose, work with that. One of the first things that needs to be worked with is your body image. And again, going back to what's put in front of us on social media, and what it is that you believe your body should be, what your body should look like. Because that's one of the first things. I know for me, when I looked at what I actually believed my body image should be, it was a size 8, no cellulite, peachy ass, flawless, absolutely flawless, glowing, not a hair anywhere on top of it. It wasn't real. When I looked at the standard I was trying to attain, when I sat and really looked at what I believed I should be, it was completely unattainable. So when you're thinking, when you focus on your body image, when you sit down, ask yourself what you believe you should look like. It may shock you to what you have deemed as acceptable and is okay is absolutely unattainable. So look at that first and then start working on the negative body image now. Body image will not change. Our body confidence will not come up when you've lost that stone. You have to start working on it now, and you have to start working on it by changing how you're speaking to yourself when you look in the mirror, changing how you're dressing yourself, changing how you're effectively treating yourself. That's how your body confidence and your body image changes. If you're looking in the mirror and you're telling yourself, oh my God, look at those thunder thighs, that flabby ass, that cellulite, that, you are hammering that person. You are hammering yourself. That's what you're hearing constantly. That is not a person motivated to eat healthy, to take care of themselves, to love themselves, and to feel confident. If you want to change your confidence in your body image, change how you're speaking to yourself, change your perspective of what you're seeing. And that's where you'll start creating huge change, and then getting to the root of what the lack is, what you believe just isn't good enough about yourself. And you're guaranteed that the roots of that come from your past. And it's what you believed you lacked to be accepted, to be loved, and to be taken care of by other people, when in the reality of today, the person that needs to love you is you. The person that you're with from womb to tomb is you. The person that needs your acceptance now is you. So you're the one that needs to work on your body image. You're the one that needs to support you if you're recognising problematic eating, if you're recognising the avoidance of food, binging, laxatives, extreme dieting, any of those things, or any form of a destructive emotional relationship with food. You're the one that, because you will need to eat for the rest of your life. So it is something that you need to deal with for your own happiness. And you're so much more than the skin you're in. And you deserve to be happy. You deserve to love yourself. And it's patterns and beliefs that were trained in often decades ago that are keeping you stuck and keeping you in that place. And you're the key to change. You're the one that can change all of this now. But that is through recognising the problem, owning it as a problem, looking at the roots and beginning to change today. So that's it for me for this week, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it and got some fabulous takeaways. And as always, I invite you to connect in with me across social media, or check me out on my website, www.yourgifttoyou.com, or email me, linda@yourgifttoyou.com, guys, because I'd love to hear from you, and any topics you'd like for us to talk about, or any more learnings that you want. And please remember, give me those reviews, because it keeps the podcast getting out there to more people. So chat to you very soon, guys. Bye bye.